guys today, so I thought I'd come on just for a little bit and talk to you guys about the Sebastian Drake Rogers case. We haven't talked about it for a few days, and I had a great day. Delilah's tuckered out next to me. Well, she's kind of under the covers. She's tuckered out. She had a very, very exhausting day. I had a very exhausting day. But either way, we're back at it, and we're coming to you pretty stinking late. So, good evening. It's nice to see you. I'm Bullhorn Betty. I cover true crime, and this is the case of Sebastian Drake Rogers. Hey, Eeyore. Thank goodness that didn't come out a different way. That's a little dicey. Hey, ER, Mama Bear, Melanie, Lisa, Deanna, Melly Cat, Catherine. It's nice to see you all. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm sorry. I left this morning at like 9 o'clock in the morning because I thought I was going to have to go by the chop shop and get my chicken cordon bleus. But Laura, she's like, no. She goes, I got some other plans. She was like, yeah, I'm just not really feeling it today. I'm like, okay. So I went over there and watched movies with her. It was a great day. Delilah played with the dogs. They slung each other around like, rag dolls. And, she's one happy camper. I can't wait until I read He's Been Found. I know. Gloria, you and me both. We're all, I think we're all exhausted over this case. We know something. And we know he was removed from that house. We know the parties that would most likely be responsible for that. And then when we look at those people's behaviors, and they don't make us feel any better, right? If you guys are just coming in, this is the case of Sebastian Drake Rogers. He was 15 years old when he disappeared from his home on February, or I should say reported missing from his home on February 26, 2024. That is correct, 2024. It was over a year ago. He still has not been found. At the beginning of this case, his mom and stepdad kind of gave us just, I guess, I think shortly after we reviewed the very first interview, I think I made comments like, I hope I'm not seeing what I think I'm seeing. Or something to that effect, like, I hope these parents didn't. You know what I'm saying? I remember saying something, but it was like you did feel something. You didn't know what you were feeling. I mean, I'm trying to go back to those initial days. Now we have so much more information, that kind of clouds. But those first days, the first days we were listening and hearing, those are the things that I'm trying to get you guys back to, those feelings. And I think at the time we were kind of side-eyeing, but I don't think any of us were really over the fence because we didn't know what we were dealing with. So he's now since turned 16, and guys, he's about to come up on his 17th birthday. I mean, we're in July. His birthday's December. I mean, it's 5 months away, less than 5 months away. And he's going to be 17 years old. Somebody do me a favor. Look up what the legal age in the, as an adult in the Tennessee. Is it 16, 17, or 18? I'll read it when I get back. There. So, Mally Cat, it's nice to see you. Melanie, Gloria, Sheila, it's nice to see you. Jacqueline, it's nice to see you. Mad50, hey. Reptile Wildlife, it's nice to see you. Jessica, Ocean Joy, good evening. Mama Bear, what's the latest? Well, we're going to get to that. Mally Cat gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Mally Cat thank you. And for the person that received your gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome welcome aboard. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Why aren't the police doing their job? Great question. Lorraine Law, it's nice to see you and our beautiful hindsight up in the house. Hello, hello, show poodles, the real me too. Texas Nan, it's nice to see you. Good evening, Christy. Little Orange Man, it's nice to see you. Welcome aboard. I see Reptile Wildfire is the one that received the gifted Bullhorn Betty membership. Monica, it's nice to see you. It's 18 here, Betty, in Tennessee. Okay, thank you. Well, because I was going to snuff out that whole, if he gets to the legal age, which is another rumor that these crazy people that don't know what the heck they're talking about spread. Monica, Karen, it's nice to see you. Lisa B, always whispering winds, dreaming of blue skies and sandy beaches. Debbie, it's nice to see you. Sumner County needs an investigation. Some LE need to seize all documents from Craddock and get this case. I think Craddock is not managing the sheriff's office properly, and that's why we only have one detective on it. And if it's because things have slowed down, well, when's the second eyes going to be put on it? When are they going to have or start consulting with other law enforcement offices that have a little more experience than them? Or when are they going to start consulting with the FBI or, finally accepting the U.S. Marshal's help? Like, I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. Just to let you guys know, I'm not planning on staying up too awfully late this evening. I wanted to come here because I haven't been on all day long. I was going to talk about Lily and Jack, and I see that, It's a Shaming Crime as well as Justin for All are both kind of talking about the same subject matter. So I decided that, Sebastian, we haven't talked about him, although I'm not bringing up the interviews. We're kind of in the middle of the interviews. I figured we'd just have a conversation here about the case because, I one thing that's been kind of weighing on my mind here recently is that leg, okay? The leg's got me in a little tissy because out of everything that we've been dealing with, I'm going to tell you guys some things, okay? And this is why it freaks me out. Not that it has anything to do with this, but you guys know my theories. I've been pretty vocal about my theories. I know that my personal theories upset Seth quite a bit. I know that. I'm very, very thankful that Seth, even though I support him and I know he doesn't support my theories whatsoever, because it means something really, really bad, and he just right now that's not anything that he can think about. But when that leg popped up, that got me a little bit, and it got me wanting to pay a little bit of attention. Karen right now saying, what leg? Well, there was a leg found, I think it was Springfield, a couple weeks ago. And it hasn't been, Springfield. It hasn't been haunting me, so to speak. But it's been bothering me. It bothered me out the gate because usually, I'll do my little thumbnails. I'll bring you guys in here and I'll say, start going through the history of the case, and talking to you about the case. And then I'll get into the elephant in the room, which is usually a body part, whatever the case may be. And I'll let you guys know. Before we get into this, I just want to let you know it's my opinion. If for you guys here that I don't think it's, this person or that person or whatever, whatever the case may be. And with this particular one, I said, I'm paying attention to this because this one's got me very concerned. This particular one, not that I'm saying that anything belongs to him, especially in light of another report that came out from Nick Barris. Nick Barris remembers a heart showing up somewhere, kind of by itself. And now we have this kind of leg that's floating down the river, or what the case may be, and somebody sees it. But it's water. Okay, you guys know how much I honed in on water at the very beginning of this case. It is a leg, it is a body part, and it's been in the water for a significant amount of time. Now, there's a lot that can be said with this. There is a caveat. We know in 14 days that Riley Strain, we don't have a lot of metrics to go on off the top of our head without doing research. So in order to make this easy for everyone, let's see prayers at Kiki. Hey Betty and Mods. Hey. Are you okay? I saw prayer hands. I'm like, whoa, what happened? But hopefully you're doing okay. Maybe you're just saying hey to everybody and somebody just accidentally hit the wrong thing. My friend with the BBC went swimming in a lake in Thailand, got bit in the dong by some slant. No, sorry. You know what? If people are going to be in the chat trolling, I mean, in all fairness, I would prefer trolls like this. I don't know if you're a troll, Pog, but I have to, Pog Whisper. I really don't know. But if you are a troll, I mean, I'd like to give you a hand. If you're not a troll, are you telling me this story because you think I have fleas? I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand. Oh, good gracious. Oh, good gracious. Okay. I remember that when it was found has been determined who the leg... No, it hasn't. That's what we're getting into, Lorraine, because the leg has been bothering me. And I'm kind of walking you guys through. Let me just kind of speed up the process. So one of the reasons why the leg interests me so much and why it has me so stinking concerned is because, one, it's in the water. We identified water as being kind of a safe space, so to speak, for the Proudfoots because they've been on the water, their career's the water. They have a lot of maritime, hours under their belt. So long story short, the water was important to me. The fact that I have for a very long time, and people that are near and close to me, even though I haven't vocalized it much. I think I've only vocalized it once or twice publicly on this platform. Was the fact that I feel like there may be some dismemberment involved as well in this particular situation. And one of those theories is based upon Chris leaving for an extended and unusual amount of time during the middle of a very high intensity situation. It just didn't fit. It didn't go well. And I have to think that the reason why he took off for that amount of time was for purposes of, getting rid of something or more evidence or what the case may be. So that's kind of and for you, Carl, the answer is no. No, because there are several key factors. He's not familiar with the area. He's not from here. He moved here to be with his son. He had just recently started his job. He doesn't really have any connections here. These are all types of things. The man works at A sheriff's deputy in a correctional facility, they don't really make a whole lot of money. So, you've got to look at this. He was very excited about having his son. He has been doing nothing but for 8 years trying to fight to get custody of his son. That was about to happen within months of this situation. You got to have, in a court of law, you don't even need to prove motive, but somebody has to have means and opportunity. And those are the critical elements that are necessary to prove a situation. He had no means and he had no opportunity. He is seen on camera. For him to, let's say, be responsible, if he's on camera at jail, then we'd have to take the consideration that he had help. He had third parties. Okay, now you're talking about communication, you're talking about money exchanging. Nobody's going to do something like this free of charge. So, and he has no family, so he doesn't really have somebody that he can trust to take, to handle his six. So, we can look at it. I can tell you I have looked at it, I've dissected it. And anybody that actually takes the time to learn this case and actually look at the facts, i.e. his work logs. We posted his work logs months ago. It shows him literally inside a jail at the time of this. So in order for him to be involved here, it would have to be a third party, or third parties, plural. Okay? And when you start bringing in third parties, you're talking about communication, you're talking about a data trail, you're talking about phone trails, you're talking about your vehicle trails, you're talking about money exchanging. You're not talking about a man that comes from a lot of means and wealth. So, even $5,000, that's hard to come up with. Even $5,000. So how much would something like this cost? I have to think $5,000 or more. No? I don't see some Joe Blow doing it for less than that. But, Carl, I've looked at it, and I've looked at legitimate receipts. So unless you've got, legitimate receipts instead of assumptions, then, I have thought outside the box. And sometimes things just don't fit. And I will never work with anybody unless I'm 100% sure of their innocence. And you see me lockstep and right behind Seth Rogers. And I will be the first one, because I will not help, I will not support, I will not give even a half a cent to somebody that I feel it would be or could be a monster. Just saying. That's just my opinion. Something happened for you not to be out looking for your child. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You studied, and this is, yeah, and have been boots on the ground. And I can tell you, the only person that's ever lied and lied consistently throughout this entire thing, and I know for a fact for at least St. Jude's, is Chris and Katie. Anytime I have found information from Seth Rogers, I've never had to question it. Because everything that he has provided me, and I fact-checked, has been true. Everything Chris and Katie have provided, and we fact-check it has been crap. Why? Because clearly they're not telling the truth. That's the only deductive reasoning I can have. I wish. Have you ever considered the original date he went missing? 8 years? Yeah. 8 years. Exactly. And you're proving the case more. Who filed for those divorce papers? Katie. Who was with Seth on the anniversary of those divorce papers? Katie. Who's the one that's been trying to get rid of Sebastian from her home since October 2022? Katie. You see a pattern here? See a pattern here? I'm starting to feel like Carl Ferguson is somebody on, I don't know, Team Proudfoot. I don't know. Have you considered the original day you went missing? Sounds like somebody that would be clever enough to flip-flop the truth to fit. So there's a stinky, unscrupulous PI? It couldn't be. Is that the... No. Have you considered the original date he went missing? Whose speech pattern is that? Like, I want to take a picture. Somebody take a picture of that comment that says, have you considered the original date he went missing? 8 years to the day that Katie filed for divorce from Seth. That's somebody. You're not Carl, but I know who you are, I think. Somebody take a picture of that. I got to compare that to something. I don't know. Lord, please bring justice Sebastian Rogers in Jesus' name. Thank you, Damaris? Damaris? I got that right? I'm sorry. I have a horrible... My hooked on phonics, my hooked on phonics is broken. A parent does not move across the country. Oh, a parent does move across the country from CA to Tennessee if they don't want to take an active role in their children. Right? So they doesn't move halfway across. I see what you're saying. You're being sarcastic, but making your point very clear. And it's true. A parent would not do that. I mean, we've seen a lot of crappy parents. And the one thing that I can say is Chris and Katie knew that Seth was going to be a problem at the very beginning. They were trying to smooth him over at the very beginning. If you guys go back and look at some of those original interviews, they were speaking highly, in part, of Seth. He was a highly involved father. Chris always saying, we have a 3-parent household type thing. He was always saying we work together well. Always putting that front up. But always making sure that everybody knew that he had a very active role in his son's life, because in fairness, he had a very active role in his son's life, so they couldn't come to the cameras and say that, because he's got proof he's an active role. And not only that, but he's the only one that's worried about the type of therapy. You never hear Katie talk about that. You always hear Seth talk about making sure he has the right type of therapy for what he's gone through, including his medical conditions. It's just, but you never hear Katie talking about it. You never hear her concerned whether or not he's getting the right therapy or the right care or the right schooling or education. It seems like she just doesn't care. Just my opinion. What about disgruntled inmates? From my understanding, he's in like the high risk ward where those people don't get out. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess anything's a possibility, but I mean, now we're starting to really dive into some fictional TV here. What are the probabilities of Seth making one inmate's life so incredibly difficult that he says, when I get out, I'm going to stalk him and I'm going to learn about his family and I'm going to go take his son. I don't know. Does that happen? Can somebody Google that? I want to know how many police officer children are kidnapped by a disgruntled inmate. I mean, I have to think that that's very low. I can't imagine that being very common. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm just speaking from the heart here. Do your own research. This is my opinion. My opining. My whatever. It's mine. It's Bullhorn Betty. Get your own. You might be able to borrow mine, but it's mine. Okay? Get your own. Nana Nana, it's nice to see you. I've been working a lot. I'm happy I finally got to catch a live. Aw, thank you. I never heard Tony say that. Never heard Tony say what? I think I'm too far down. I forgot what I said. Connie, if that happened, they would have a trail of evidence. What did Connie say? Let's go back up here. So this is what I got to do when I start reading comments. It's quite the scavenger hunt. It's quite the scavenger hunt in here. I feel special. I don't know what she said. I can't find the damn. You guys are having conversations like, ooh, let me go read that. That sounds good. And I try to go up there and I can't find it. Patty said, I just got here. Well, did I miss much? We're getting to the leg. You haven't missed much yet. We're getting to the leg. BHB, I believe in my heart that this runs deep in corruption, in my opinion. People have been telling me that since I got. You guys know my history here. I heard it long before I ever got to this community, but I hear that literally in every community I go to. So I wasn't thinking anything about it because you guys know how trolls are. Like, I don't listen to anybody on TV or online, right? So if they're saying one thing, I probably won't believe it. And so, long story longer is that I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. I got my feet wet here, and this is the most corrupt I've personally witnessed and been involved in, because I've never ever heard of anybody being arrested when they haven't committed a crime. And these people are supposed to be investigating this 15-year-old boy, and they can't investigate whether I threatened somebody or not. They're too freaking ignorant, dense, and unskilled to open up a freaking YouTube channel and check. They're fucking bozos. I don't know what else to tell you. It terrifies me that Sumner County is investigating this boy's case, because they don't know their ass from their elbow. How do I know that? Because they investigated me. And if they think I'm a criminal for hanging a flipping camera out a damn window on a public street, they're fucking idiots. Okay? And when it was co-signed by the judge, they're fucking idiots. They're fucking idiots. I think I earned my. I think we got $30. Did I earn it? If I earn my $30, put clappy emojis in there. Renee, she's probably gonna smack me. She's like, I didn't pay for this. Thank you, Renee. Sebastian Strong, Sebastian's Army. Mike might have. We'll give him clappy hands too. He probably co-signed that. He probably co-signed that. Renee would probably, I'm sure, probably asked me to tone it down just a little, just a wee little bit, just a wee little bit. Oh, good gracious! Oh, good gracious! Don't judge me. I'll just say the date is eye-opening, period. Yeah, but you got to remember, Carl, I think you're looking at it backwards. I really do. I think you're looking at it backwards. Who is the pusher of the 26? I find it odd that Katie divorced or filed for divorce from Seth on the same day that her child went missing that was in her custody. I mean, I think you're on to something, Carl. I'm not saying you're not on to something. Okay? I'm just saying I think you're looking at it in a mirror. I think you need to flip that mirror around, and I think you'll get it. That's all I'm saying. I think I agree with you in part. I agree that it is highly suspicious, that date. But let's face it, that date was created by Katie Proudfoot. Well, Katie Rogers at the time. Okay? And the next date was created by Katie Proudfoot. It looks like Renee just co-signed the bullshit. I don't have buttons. Sonya can't. Sonya's sleeping. Oh, good. We got away with it. Shh. Tomorrow morning, We're not going to tell Sonia about this live, okay? We're going to say shh, so we don't have to see her, covering her face and peeking out. So far, I haven't seen her in here this evening. Betty, it's very rare an inmate was involved in a kidnapping of a guard family member. Prison has safety precautions in place to prevent this. I looked it up. Okay. Good. Well, there you go. Guys? Oh, Pat, I just missed it. I'm so sorry. Patty gifted a Bullhorn Buddy membership. I kept hearing everybody saying congratulations on Hindsight. I'm like, what did Hindsight do? Was she tap dancing? Did I miss something? I missed the show. And then I realized she's official. She's part of the family. We already knew she was part of the family. We already knew it. Nice to see you, Outer Blinks. Let's just agree that it's an inside job, regardless of the villain. Okay, fair enough. That I can 100% that I can 100% agree with. Well, hello, Mr. Seth. Possibly this. I don't know. But what I can tell you about the leg is they still have failed to identify it. They have still failed to identify the leg after 2 weeks. And then there was only literally one lone article, one lone person, and it's not even a media in the area that did the follow-up video to let us know that they still haven't identified the leg. And that kind of, concerns me a little bit. Non-family abductions are very rare, representing only 1%. That's what people don't understand, Whispering Winds, because, when I was younger, and this is what I try to impress upon so many people, because I just feel like we were so duped. Now, I'm not blaming, I had fabulous teachers, and I don't want to, they did the best with what they could, but there are several things that I wish that they would start teaching our children and substitute some of the teachings that they do teach. And one is, no matter where you are, why can't we just all have life jackets? We just had a freaking flood in the middle of central Texas where I'm sure that some people, if they just had life jackets with them, would have probably survived. Hurricane season. The one thing I have never heard any type of newscaster ever tell people to do is go out to their freaking boats, which literally everybody and their mother in the state of Florida has a blessed boat, and go get the life preservers on and keep them in the blessed house where when an emergency happens, you can put them around your damn neck. I've never been taught that, and I'm from Florida. They teach me to crawl under my desk in case of doomsday, but don't provide me some realistic information that could really save lives, okay? And then here's the other one, the stranger danger conversation. All those children for decades and decades and decades being taught that the stranger is outside of the home when our statistics show that the danger's inside the damn home. But you never hear them talking about it. So, few things that I wish our education departments would start getting right. And moreover, in the state of Florida, I think homes, if you can't afford a freaking life vest or life preserver in Florida, you should be provided one, especially if you're in a coastal town. Sorry, not sorry. And I'm not a philanthropist, but I think it should be a public-private partnership where, we give grants for people that supply disadvantaged families, cheap. A flotation device is a flotation device the way I look at it. And it's a flotation device designed to keep your head above water. And when there's a hurricane, what happens? We have a lot of water. Just saying. All right. Thank you for letting me have my tangent. Respectfully. Rigor motive. You guys are clever. I love that. In my opinion, KP and CP did something and hired someone to take him somewhere. I don't think they hired anybody. Their family is so damn evil and twisted. I don't think they had to pay anybody a damn dime to do a damn thing. Maybe gas money. He might have had to pay somebody gas money. Are they doing a DNA test on the leg? Oh, I'm sure they're doing a litany of tests on the leg, you know. But right now, there's still nothing. And quite frankly, I don't anticipate. This is the sad thing, is I think that we're not going to get anything on this leg for months. Something in my gut is just telling me, not because I think it could be anything associated with Sebastian, okay? I want to make that caveat very, very clear. I just think it's going to be months because I'm looking at this from a kind of how the processes go, because it's not law enforcement testing the leg. It's something that probably has to go to the coroner's office. The coroner probably has to draw the blood. The blood probably has to go to a forensic laboratory. And once it gets to the forensic laboratory, it goes into a cooler. It's docketed in their system, and it stays in that cooler until the number comes up. That's the way I hear it happens. It all comes in. They come in date order. They're processed in date order. The only ones that skip ahead of the other ones are the ones that are priority or have an elevated status on it for, to jump ahead, legitimately. But from my understanding, and if we look at everything that we know about crime labs and state crime labs, the one thing is they take a long time. They've got a lot of crap to process. Now, could they process it quicker if it goes to like somebody like the FBI? It still has to go in a get put in their system, and it still has to get a number, and it still has to wait to be called. So would it be quicker? I don't know. I don't know if it'd be quicker in the state lab or the Fed lab. And I don't know if it is in the state lab or the Fed lab. It could be in the Fed lab for all I know. I don't know. But either way, I think it's gonna be months before we hear the identity of that leg, just for the sheer fact that it's not an emergency situation, and there's no urgency to get the results back. In the sense, not that we're not urgent to get the results back, in the sense of what takes priority, what takes precedence over another case. It's a deceased individual that's missing their leg, or somebody that lost their leg and might have survived the injury, but I'm pretty sure we would know I can't imagine somebody could sever their leg without going to the hospital for pain management. That's just me, but I definitely don't want to be moving around without I've got to think it's pretty painful. Yeah, he's innocent. That is absolutely 100. I wouldn't. No offense, but I think Seth understands that. I wouldn't work with Seth if I had any questions of whether he was responsible for his son. If there was a doubt in my mind, anybody that has followed me for a significant amount of time will know. One thing I don't do is I don't play this I'm going to be your friend type of thing so I can backstab you later, like these people that think they're going to do this effery and it's going to somehow pan out by acting like their friend. Oh, they're going to tell me something. I'm going to be their friend for 5 seconds and get the whole lowdown. I don't play those games, and I would not be friendly with Seth for 1 second. I'd show him respect. Don't misunderstand me. I'd show him respect, but I wouldn't be friendly, and I wouldn't make myself available. If he calls or needs me, I'm always there for him. I would not do that unless I believe. I don't have to convince anybody else but myself that he's innocent. That's the only person I need to convince, is me. And when I look at all the information related to Seth, it doesn't hold water. It just doesn't hold water. Is it Mama's Bear's birthday? Well, I don't have my earphones on. I don't have my hat, but if it's Mama Bear's birthday, thanks, guys. You guys, is it your birthday? Did I miss it? Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Crimecast, Mr. and Mrs. E. It's nice to see you. Is it? Sebastian Rogers, we love you and are trying to help your daddy find you all. That's sweet. I'm not a fan of AI, but think it will help solve crimes faster. You know what I liked about it, Mike? I liked being able to be honest with you, I like being able to plug in the transcripts of the entire conversations of Chris and Katie. When they were online and stuff, I took those transcripts, put them in a Word document, and uploaded those. And so I was able to feed the AI legitimate information, the way that the exact words coming out of their mouth. And it was able to, after like several, I think I plugged in, how many videos did I plug in like that? Because it doesn't accept the videos. But if you take the transcripts and you put those in a Word document or a PDF, you can upload it and it can read it and understand what is being said. So I was able to get that in there. And even though I didn't identify the voices, the way that it was speaking, the transcript laid out, it could tell who was having what conversation. It was really interesting. And they could tell that, Chris was the one that was, I can't remember the words it was using, but it really was able to give me a decent psychological and a behavioral profile on both Chris and Katie. It was more thorough on Chris. Why? Because he speaks more than Katie. So we had more to use in the transcript directly from Chris to really hone in on his personality and behaviors. But, just AI can assist with. And even when you're talking to it, like, for example, if they identified Chris, say, as having narcissistic tendencies, right? And you ask it, like, what are narcissistic tendencies or something like that, it would to review in conjunction with the statements it was making, so you can kind of see the legitimacy of the AI's answers. I think it's fascinating. I think it's absolutely fascinating. And yes, I do believe that if law enforcement could plug some things into AI, it could give it some ideas of what that information means. But in all, they're trained inside such a box that you have to do it this way, because they have to for law and legal purposes, that I think it fails to allow them in many cases, or it's at least some, I don't want to say many cases, because of their restrictions. I think that AI would help bring additional theories, additional avenues, and I think would be able to chronologically put these pieces together. And sometimes when you have a complex case like we do with Sebastian Rogers, we're guilty of it ourselves, where we're reading all of this stuff, and the stuff that we learned at the beginning, we forget. I mean, think about Summer Wells, a prime example. Like, people are starting to get the second wind of the Summer Wells case, so a lot of people are starting to bring her case up again. And it's surprised about this or that. It's like, yeah, that did happen. That was there. This is no new news. But it is to them. It is to them. So we forget. We just forget things. And AI, I think, is that tool that doesn't let us forget those fine, critical details that can be lost in complex situations. Chris and Katie believe they were stuck with Sebastian when Seth didn't tell that Sebastian, or tell them in the kitchen that they were moving. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that was an odd statement. And I think it was you that called in and reminded us to go back and listen to that as well. You know? Aw, thank you, Lisa. Neighborhood messages about autistic teen being forced to sell magazine door to door, possibly slave labor, reported to police. Interesting. There was something I was reading that happened just recently in the area as well, but I can't remember. But it seems like it was a big deal, but I feel like I heard about it today too. But I was at my friend's house and I took it in, but I just didn't. I don't know. Weird. It's weird. Seth is clear as yeah. There's nothing. I really don't feel Seth, has anything to do with it. I can't understand why the DCSO hasn't put out that Seth was at work. They have. They have, but they didn't say it publicly because there's no. You got to understand the bad part about this is that Sumner County isn't speaking. Sumner County, there has not been an official update on this case in over a year. The last official update on this case, and this is why everybody is so angry with the sheriff, is because the last official update on this case, and that was only the second official update in the case in its entirety, was on April 2nd, 2024. April 2nd, 2024. Now, imagine this, Carl. You're a family member. When law enforcement doesn't have press conferences, the family doesn't get an update either. So Seth hasn't really had a legitimate update on his son's case without the garbage in quite a while. And we know that there is an integrity of the investigation. And listen, I'm not going to get in the arguments and it's not my business, okay? I want the information the public is entitled to. Nothing more, nothing less. And this idea that some knucklehead thinks that the public isn't entitled to anything is just that, a knucklehead. And that's arrogance. Because you can't, on one hand, say that you don't like the misinformation, and then on the other hand, not provide any legitimate information. That's called an oxymoron. And we have a lot of them in Sumner County. I didn't want to, like a year, but now I use them at work to prepare deposition summaries. Can you do that with AI, or is it a special AI program? I do have to add some info. Missed it, but still saves me time. Huh. Well, AI can definitely do a lot. I haven't even figured out its full capacity yet. I use it for stuff like this, giving me ideas of talking points on cases. I feed it a lot of articles. Occasionally I'll have it script or an out on the rails, especially if I'm going to be if I'm going to be emotional about a case, if I know I'm going to be a little radical or whatever, I'll use a script so I stay, radical within some bumpers and some constraints, because we wouldn't want to get off the reservation. It's easy to do on the Bullhorn Betty channel. I'm just saying, we own it. I wish I had my little, my little boopy boop button. Do 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 do. significance of that day. I know we've talked about it, Carl. We talked about it. It's definitely. I think you're onto something. I just think you might want to look at it from different different angles, because you'll find a key ingredient, and I think the key ingredient is Katie. Katie's involvement in both, and her significant involvement in both of those dates. Nice to see you, Lazy Craddock and his deputies. I don't want to criticize. Listen, one of the things is there's detectives and then there's beat cops, but you have to understand there is a chain of command. So I don't want. This is a top brass. I don't want the beat cops feeling like we don't support them or care about them or anything like that. Investigators are different than beat cops. The sheriff's different than beat cops. The cops that are out there, risking their lives on those roads every single day, protecting the citizens of Sumner County, they don't get enough kudos. Whenever I'm talking about law enforcement, I know about the chain of command, okay, very, very, very well. And I put the blame where the blame is due, and it's not on the innocent deputies that work under that chain of command. And I know one thing: when they have a good chain of command, when they have great deputies, they have amazing deputies. It is a direct result of the leadership. And so we do not attack the men and women of blue. We attack the leadership. I want to make sure that you guys understand, when I'm talking about sheriffs and police, we are not talking about the men and women that risk their lives out there on those streets every single day. We are talking about leadership and top brass. When I have a problem with law enforcement and I need something done, if leadership is not willing to step up to the plate and do what needs to be done, they're the ones that have the problem, not the people under them. So I think we need to make sure, if we are placing blame here, we're placing blame correctly on the correct people and trying to minimize the innocent people that are, that might get a little smudge on their uniform. We want to try to avoid that as much as possible, because at the end of the day, their job is tough. Anybody that's in those cars having to pull people over, having to be the first responders at homes, they are heroes each and every day. And I do not want to take that away from them. Our top brass is not that out there in those fields. So let's just remember that. They're usually behind a desk with their finger up their butt. People I'm talking about. I think as a person that Jay showed, talking is very possible. CPKB did to Sebastian is kind of showed corruption. Hindsight, I was in Hindsight. I gotta go back to Hindsight and then it's chat. If you guys didn't check them out, they're starting to do a little group. Hindsight, it's Hindsight, Mama Rissa, and BMW Coupe. And I gotta tell you, I love listening to the ladies. I love their conversation. I love their subject matter. And if you guys want some information, and they work really hard, and they are not here to dupe anybody. They're not here for clicks and views. They're here because they have perspectives as well. They have opinions as well, and they've got a lot of support on those perspectives and theories. And talking about thinking outside the box, they do think outside of the box. They are looking at every avenue and turning over every stone. So if you guys haven't had an opportunity to check them out, make sure you get over there. Hindsight's in here. You guys can click on her profile, go over there, sub up to her so you guys don't miss those shows. I like them. I like them. Very informative. You guys do a great job. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. The Real Me Too just dropped the YouTube channel for Hindsight, so go over there and hit those up. Kimberly, it's nice to see you. I just want to say, that just went up on me too hard. Just want to say, I think they know what happened to Sebastian, but until they have DNA, well, the way I look at it is they need to be doing the subpoenas. And if they don't have probable cause to go in there and do a thorough forensic investigation of the house, then I just don't think this law enforcement agency knows what the hell they're doing. If they can't make probable cause at this, after this being the last place this child was seen, I don't know what they're doing. They haven't even told us whether they have done forensics, and I'm not trusting Nick Barris to say, oh yeah, the house, that being the only statement we've had related to the forensics. For some reason, I feel, but you know what? In the Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner case, I remember we were calling the district attorney 9, 10 months, 11 months later, and that was in Utah. But 11 months later, and they still had not had a shred of DNA. Not one of their items had come back yet tested. So we do have to take that into consideration, a lot, that they just might not have anything to go on right now. They may have collected it. I mean, let's just play devil's advocate. I don't like playing devil's advocate or giving Sumner County a pass in the least, but what if it is, everybody's always asked, why aren't they making an arrest? Why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? You know what I'm saying? Well, you know what? That might have a lot to do with the fact that they haven't gotten anything back yet. They should have some maps, though. That's what pisses me off, because I really believe they should have some maps. They should have some areas of targeted areas. They should be searching and researching. They searched early on the case. They should be going back and researching those again, especially considering that, things back in those was still, there was a lot of leaves and stuff on the ground. Summer and do those searches. Remember, we were always told that they were going to go back when it warmed up and it cleared up out there. They were going to do do another search or something. We've never heard of any other search being conducted in over a year. Layla Santinello is 20-something. What after she disappeared? So I think if she hasn't already turned 20, I don't remember her birthday, but if she hasn't already turned 23, she will be turning 23. Had substance abuse problems, Law enforcement has done more in the same time frame. And here we have a 15-year-old medically needy autistic boy, and we've got an entire police department standing down, doing 0 searches. 0. Sound right to me? Does that sound right to you? In my opinion, they need a DA with VHB brass balls. I you know what? I agree with that, but they're too busy. I'm not really a fan of Tennessee. And listen to this. A girl from Orlando, Florida, I believe in Orlando, in Tennessee. Now we're having people dragging bodies out of different states to in Tennessee. Like, when's Tennessee going to get a clue? Something's got to give. These people are killing their picturesque, home. Because now it's becoming a dumping ground. They got no infrastructure there to help with their law enforcement. They're not willing to take on circumstantial cases. They have very low, no-body cases taken to trial. It's just... They're so far behind right now. And they failed to do what they needed to do when, the Dems were handing out money like it was candy on Halloween. And Tennessee didn't build up anything. Like they were even given credits for to getting infrastructure in areas where there's no internet infrastructure. We shouldn't have to beg them to do their job. No, we shouldn't. But It looks like they purchased a block. So you know what we need to do? This is what we need to do. We need to get in there, and the people that have the ability to come in and stay and start door knocking when it comes time and start getting out there to remove Eric Craddock from his seat until we start removing politicians from their seat over this case, until they know that the community as well as the public, like we have a lot of control as the public, and they got a wake-up call. If this last was not a wake-up call, they can call it cuts, they can call whatever. I'm sure it's going to get worse because you know what? Their governor is getting calls because of their police or their sheriff's department. Their governor is getting calls talking about Sumner County being corrupt in the thousands, in the droves. Do you think the governor or the Congress is really willing to help them? They're literally, have you looked at their X pages? Sebastian's army is all over every single Tennessee state senator's freaking box. Everybody's looking at Sumner County and saying, who the hell is this Sheriff Snuggle Struggles? We just did the next sheriff a favor. Like, he only has to put that freaking a picture of Craddock. It's the name Eric Craddock. Yeah, whatever his name is. Sheriff Craddock on the flyer with his post of the thing with Mr. Sheriff Snuggle Struggles under it. I mean, nobody's going to vote for this guy. Literally nobody. Like, we've already designed the damn poster flyer. All we have to do is find a sheriff to put on it to go against Craddock, and we got the flyer done. Now all we got to do is go pass it around to 225,000 residents, and we got a sheriff removed from office. Believe it or not, if we get started early, we'll it's a lot of work, but you'll be pleasantly surprised. And trust me, we've got plenty of material to hand around to the residents. But be careful. We know that they don't like allowing people their constitutional rights in Sumner County. We know that they like to arrest people for driving on the road. Let's hope walking on the road and handing out political flyers is still lawful and legal in Sumner County. We know it's lawful and legal everywhere else, but we also know Sumner County doesn't follow Tennessee law. I mean, but that's all right. That's why they make appellate courts and Supreme Courts, and that's why they make people have to smack them around. So we'll see. It's not over until the fat lady sings, and baby ain't singing yet. Just saying. Just saying. All right, guys, I've been on way longer than I ever thought I would be on. Again, nothing on the leg. I'll keep you guys posted. It could be months before we get an identity on the leg, but I'm checking every few days to see what's what. If you guys find out or you hear before I do, please send it to me immediately. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another, and God bless you, and we'll see you back sometime tomorrow. I'll be here. That's all I can say. I don't know when, I don't know where, but I know I'll be here. All right, God bless you.